So this general election is probably going to be the most consequential election in Britain's entire post-war history. It's probably going to determine the fate of Brexit, whether or not we have a second referendum on our EU membership, whether or not we get a second independence referendum in Scotland, whether Jeremy Corbyn and a more radical Labour Party come into power. But I think there are 5 key things to watch. First, volatility. This is the most volatile electorate that Britain has had for decades. More people are moving between the parties, changing their votes from one election to the next. In fact, between 2010 and 2017, the British election study tells us that around half of the electorate changed its vote. That makes it really unpredictable. Expect more change during the campaign. The second thing to watch is geography. Obviously, with the SNP being strong in Scotland, that's going to make it harder for the 2 main parties to win a majority. At the constituency level, a divided Remain camp and some divides within the Leave camp, it's going to make it very difficult to predict what happens from one seat to another. Boris Johnson is really going to have to do some damage against Labour in those all-important Labour Leave seats. Labour and the Lib Dems, meanwhile, will be looking at those pro-Remain seats where they're hoping to hurt the Conservatives. The third thing to watch, I think the all-important, not 18 to 24-year-olds, but 30 to 49-year-olds, a things can only get better generation that grew up under Tony Blair and New Labour. That's the group that swung the hardest against the Conservatives in 2017. What's going to happen at this election with that group, I think really, really important to watch. Fourth, Nigel Farage and the Brexit Party. Where is this populist moment going in Britain? Are they going to hold on to the 10, 11, 12% of the vote that we're seeing in the polls? If they are, Boris Johnson is in trouble. Or are they going to keep getting squeezed down to the 3, 4% in the polls, which should make Boris Johnson's job that much easier? And I think lastly, fifth, what's going to happen to the party system overall? A 2-party system has imploded. It's fragmented into a 4-party race. Is that a temporary state or a permanent state for British politics? Are we entering into a full realignment along Remain and Leave lines? Or is the traditional left-right divide going to come back with a vengeance as those questions about economics come back to the surface?